Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So my research topic is about to assess the impact of interdependencies on the resilience of critical infrastructure systems. So first is about the definition of critical infrastructure systems. They are the networks of man-made systems and processes that to produce and distribute a continuous flow of essential goods and services. They include the electric power systems, water supply systems, transportation systems, and so on. And actually, various components of critical infrastructure systems, they are highly interconnected and interdependent. For example, water pumping stations need electrical power from electrical power systems, and electrical distribution needs information from telecommunication systems. So these interdependencies cause not only efficiency but also risks. So, yeah, for example, when hazards come, so some infrastructure facilities destroyed, and then the disturbances will propagate through the interdependencies, and then the restoration efforts was taken to recover the system function. So here, interdependencies play two roles. First, interdependencies may aggravate the disturbance propagation. For example, outages in power systems can cause subsequent failures of traffic signals and water supply pumping stations. So, and the second, interdependencies decelerate the system recovery because, for example, the function of water supply pumping stations will not recover until the until the power supply recovers, even if pumping stations are restored. So here are examples of 2008 Chinese winter storm. The hazards influence the transportation facilities and electrical power facilities, and then it causes many consequences like communication breakdown, electrical power shortage, and the force in inaccessible to power plants, which aggravates the electrical power shortage. So, sorry. So the interdependence has been researched in many aspects. First, the Rinaldi, he divided the interdependency in 4 categories: physical, cyber, geographical, logical, and there are many models. Modeling methods were proposed to model the interdependencies, such as empirical, agent-based, input-output-based, network-based. But these models focus more on the filial propagations and the vulnerability analysis, not including the recovery stage. So the resilience, the concept of resilience provides a new perspective to assess the vulnerability and the recovery speed. Because resilience has have 2 stages in my study. I divided the into two stages. One is the resistance stage, and the quality of infrastructure will decrease in this stage, and then the efforts of restoration was taken, so the quality of infrastructure will be recovered. So I use the Brunel's measurement of resilience to assess the resilience in this study. So what's my research objectives? I'm going to assess the impact of interdependencies on resilience assessment. So it can be divided into two aspects. One is the impact on system quality loss in the resistance stage. You can see interdependencies can influence the disturbance propagation, so which influences the quality loss in the resistance stage. And then the interdependence can influence the restoration, so which influences the recovery curve in this figure. So my objectives is to assess these two impacts. So my method is I take three assumptions on to these three groups. So first one, first assumption is that I not considering interdependencies in both in resistance or restoration stages, because which means I regard these critical infrastructure systems, they are separated. There are no interdependence between these systems. And the second assumption is considering interdependencies in the resistance stage only, which means the dependencies between these infrastructure systems. The third one is that also considering interdependencies in the restoration stage, which means I optimize the risk, get a faster recovery speed. So I use multiplied existing modeling approaches to prove that the modeling approaches or the matrix will not influence the simulation results. So next is about some simulation results. It's about the resistance stages. Yeah, you can see the red one is assumption one, the simulation assumption one, and the blue one is the simulation assumption two. You can see if I considering in interdependencies in the resistance stage, which means I consider disturbance propagation and through interdependencies, the quality of systems will decrease in a large extent. Yeah, in each figure shows this result. Yeah. So yes, this is two figures disappeared because the topical topological matrix requires the facilities of infrastructure has only two states, 0 or 1, which means field or normal. But in this model, linear flow model, the state of facilities it is continuous from 0 to 1. It maybe can be 0.2, 0.3, maybe, which means it will be 30% functional, maybe like that. So the assumption doesn't match. So that these two figures disappear. And then the recovery stages. And the red one is also the assumption 1, and the blue one is assumption 2, and the green is assumption 3. You can say if I optimize the restoration sequences in the recovery stages, the recovery speed will be faster than not considering the interdependencies. Yeah. So you can see the green one is above the blue one. So I also measure the resilience. Yeah, use this formula, and you can see the assumption. Yeah. The assumption 2 is much lower than assumption 1. Which means the disturbance propagation through interdependencies can cause a large decrease on the system quality. And if I optimize the restoration sequences, the resilience will be improved. So it's my conclusions, and I use 4 network-based models and 3 matrices to simulate the resistance and the restoration stages of CIB. And you can see the vulnerability of CIB would be significantly underestimated if interdependencies of CIB were not factored in, and the recovery speed would be improved when restoration sequence was optimized with interdependencies taken into consideration. Yeah. This approach described in the study is much applicable to CIBs which are well networked and whose flows can be measured or recorded. And that's all my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Chen, and we're welcome for any kind of comments or questions. So Chen, your research is looking for some kind of evaluation approach for interdependencies of infrastructure. Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you looking for some kind of a matrix which would be suitable to measure interdependency among different infrastructure systems? Is that correct? Not exactly.
No. I just want to improve the interdependencies between critical infrastructure systems have a large impact on the resilience assessment.
Okay.
which means like so I want to say the interdependence will influence the quality loss. Maybe this point will be more lower if there are interdependencies between infrastructure systems. And if I optimize the restoration sequences, as this curve will be, as the recovery speed will much higher or much will be improved. I want to prove this true impact.
This is Kimbo from Arizona State. I just want to make sure I'm understanding this research correctly. So from my point of view, this research is trying to create a mathematical model to understanding the impact of interdependencies between multiple systems, so that we can better predict the impact of certain disturbance of the system level service can influence the performance of the whole community, which is influenced by the service provided by the infrastructure. And even though this research is not focused on defining metrics for urban resilience, I think still there is something we could borrow from this research. For example, from the PowerPoint we've seen from the screen, quality of infrastructure. So that is kind of a metrics, right? And we can say one aspect could be the quality of our infrastructure. And then if we have a multiple I remember before there is another slide talk about all kinds of infrastructure interruption, such as electricity, all kinds of things. And then for all kinds of civil infrastructure, water infrastructure, electricity infrastructure, we could define the quality of our infrastructure. And at the same time, we can also define what's the interdependency between different infrastructure. So right now, there is people study the interdependency between water infrastructure and the electricity infrastructure, and see how the quality of our infrastructure influence each other. That might also be a metrics to help us to understand how the metrics influence each other. I'm not sure if that my impression about the research. This research related to the mission of this team is that it's a defining quality of infrastructure and the interdependency indexes.
Yeah, I define the quality of infrastructure. Yeah, you can see the quality matrix. So I use these three when the topological, and I use the critical path length. Do you know about this? The critical path length. It's about the average of two nodes. The path, the shortest path
yes.
between two nodes. Yeah. So I calculate the average of these paths. So I want to see the connection in situation of the infrastructure systems. So I use, and I also use the flow transferred like in the
satisfied, right?
Yeah. Because as infrastructure facilities, they are in maybe in it satisfies this community or one community or two communities. So I use the community population to these facilities.
Okay, yeah, I think that's my understanding, and that aligns with what Quan is saying right now. I'm not sure, pinch out, maybe that's also what I'm thinking.
Sorry, that was coughing. And I was the input for the discussion right here is that about how Mao is doing is that he's developing some kind of interdependency metrics among the infrastructure system. And I actually what I'm doing now is doing the analyzing the risk. I'm using risk as the one node, and then I'm trying to connect the different risk. I mean causality, and then trying to analyze that robustness of the entire systems. So that gives me a lot of inspiration. And I think what Mao did here is an excellent job. And so far, I do not have any question for his work, but I will see how can we, based on, I can work furthermore on his, his methodology. So, Nuha, is there any question for you? Hello?
So I have another question, comment or question, Dr. Liang. This is Pimo. For this research, I guess it's for scheduling. I see that you're trying to optimize the restoration of the sequence of services. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, because what I'm doing right now is to analyzing the disturbance of outage control schedule. For example, in a real construction project, if you have new tasks on the job site discovered, and the people need to add new tasks into a construction schedule, and then want to maintain the stability of the schedule and minimize the risks of delay. So is this mathematical model similar to that type of model? And maybe I could learn from you about how to create such mathematical model.
Oh, okay. So that could be some kind of task interdependencies. And if you have any kind of interruptions within any kind of a task, so you can analyze the propagation of that disturbance to the entire system, which means the entire schedule. Is that right?
Yes. For example, on a job site, if you see the person is trying to install a girder, and they discover some other girders is under damage, and then they need to stop their work and then to work on that discovered damage, and then so that's going. People need to rearrange the schedule and update the schedule. What is the best strategy? It seems like it's similar as that mathematical model as optimization of a sequence of restoration.
Yes, is that right? So I'm not sure is there any connection between the two methods, because what you're talking about is kind of a disruption and a disruption with a certain kind of task, and if we can restore an equipment and make that specific task to workflow, and is there any propagation through any different type of tasks? I think we need to define the relationship between the tasks, because what we're looking at Mao Chuan's research, he's doing some kind of topological flow transfer or population satisfied, and he used some kind of 3 different quality metrics. I think that would be some kind of similar to flow transfer, and it's probably not topological issues. So yeah, maybe we can learn from that. Again.
Yeah, we can follow up later. I mean, that's just my comment and ideas.
Yes, thank you. So that's good. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.